Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at bellisiofoods.com/careers.
Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV. How are you doing, Pete Wilson?
Hey, we've come back around to Monday again.
We made it to Monday.
That's the way it works, isn't it?
I know. So I saw one of my friends posted on Facebook, I hate these 15-minute weekends.
Okay. I can relate. I can relate.
It's so true. Why is that? But a lot of fun stuff going on, and went to the dog swim yesterday. That was fun. I saw Jeremiah there. Did you swim with a dog?
I did not, but I did get run over by one.
There were some
very excited dogs.
To say that there were some excited dogs at the dog swim yesterday is the understatement of the century.
No,
they were like, what?
That's always a fun event to see, whether you're participating or not.
Oh, yep, there they are.
Yeah, here's some photos I grabbed before it started pouring the rain out there, and then I took off because I didn't want to get my equipment damaged. But
yes,
well, unless you have a storm and lightning and thunder, a little rain shouldn't bother a dog swim.
I know. I was like, well, because Jamie's like, well, do you still want to go? I'm like, well, we're gonna get wet anyway, so what does it matter?
No, that's exactly right. And
but
it's
it
summer.
held off for an hour or so before it started raining.
It's funny when you see that, and I know maybe it's a little bit different every year, but 9 out of 10 dogs are delighted, and then there's that one dog that has to be coaxed to be in the water, wants to be held, is not real thrilled about the opportunity to swim in Hillcrest Pool.
Well, it was funny because Marley's just getting old on us, but she was kind of like, I'm like, she's the only lab in the world that I know that she likes water, but she doesn't really want to swim or anything. She's just like, okay, cool, I'm done.
Okay. Well, hey, everybody's different, right?
But anyway, and then the fly-in was so fun over the weekend, but I'm sure you're going to talk about all that.
Right. Well, yeah, we've got kind of things lined up here, all sorts of things, public affairs, the fun stuff this weekend, some of the unfun stuff that has occurred that we're going to catch up on, things that are out before us here this week, et cetera. So we'll get right to it. At the top of the stack, Jennifer, I think the thing that probably is the big news story is that last Thursday evening, during a special session meeting, the Oak Hill Union Local Board of Education hired an interim superintendent.
Yes.
The gentleman's name is Jason Mantell.
There he is.
And he, of course, replaces, at least temporarily, Dr. Marcy Shepard, who resigned last month. And her last day was officially July the 31st. Mm-hmm. And Mantell has a long career in education. However, his current position at the time that he was hired as interim superintendent was executive director of the Child Protective Services in Scioto County.
Okay.
However, his background totally is in education, and we do know that that has been his main career. This is kind of like related, at least. You're working with children.
I was going to say, you're still in the field of children and protecting them and watching out for them. So that makes sense.
My guess is, and we've not talked directly with any of the Oak Hill school officials yet. We hope to do it as we work on our newspaper version of the story. We have an initial version already online. We made it free of charge. It's also on our website and also on Facebook. Because I know people want to know about this and they want to know about it now. But we hope to, hear a little bit more from the school officials about how they came to choose Jason Mantell and the details of his position, how long he's going to be able to serve as interim superintendent. I don't know whether he would be considered a candidate for permanent or whatever, but he certainly has some educational credentials that he brings to the job.
Sure.
And so we also hope to hear from him too. He does have some local connections. He married a girl from Wellston.
Oh, okay.
And he has a brother, Brian Mantell, who's also been involved in education and athletics too. So Jason Mantell now on as the interim superintendent for the Oak Hill Union Local School District. And I'm guessing the school officials in Oak Hill have to feel very good about getting somebody with as much experience as I have, that has their heart in education, who isn't just driving the car until they can get out of it. He's very interested in education and has climbed the ladder in education, has been a principal before. And some of his experience has been in Scioto County, and of course that is where he is now the executive director of Child Protective Services. He had been, previous to that, a middle school principal and a transportation coordinator in the Scioto Valley School District, which is Piketon in Pike County.
Sure.
And he also had been an assistant high school principal, athletic director, and online academy administrator, and a director of career-based intervention.
He's done a lot.
So, a lot of online experience too in education. So that is one of the big stories we're working on right now. He and his family live in South Webster, so he won't have far to come. Not sure how the transition is going to work, because I'm sure the opportunity came up kind of suddenly, just as the vacancy did.
Yes.
So he did say in a statement that was released by the district that he hopes to be, working in the district and with and meeting people very soon.
Good. Okay.
So we'll see how that works out. Now we'll go to some of the fun stuff that we had over the weekend, and it kind of started off very early on Friday evening at the Jackson area YMCA. They had a community celebration to kind of mark the opening of the new floor, the new gymnasium floor.
They did,
big
yes.
fundraising drive. So they had what they call community fun night. They had activities outside, activities inside. But obviously, Jennifer, you couldn't have ordered up better weather than we had on Friday evening.
So pretty.
Here are two of the principals that made that a fun event. Of course, you got DJ Reggie Robinson there on the left, and you have Jackson's own lifetime entertainer who still knows how to have fun, of course.
That's right.
The author of the fun show. It changes every year, but that, of course, is our own Mark Wood. And Mark did his entertainment there, and Reggie kind of was a DJ and announcer who kept things moving along very well. Maybe the biggest activity was the 5K run, walk, glow walk.
Yes.
Glow event that they had. Now, they didn't really have glow sticks, but they called it that because they had it late in the evening. It started at 8 o'clock. They made it free, and more than 100 people actually participated. More than that signed up, but they ended up having more than 100. You can see a bunch of people there at the starting line, and it was a fun thing. But there's also people who run for competition, and they did have prizes to the first place runner. Men and women. And on the left, a lot of local people recognize that face, Jason Holzapple from Wellston. Jason, of course, had the convenience stores here in Jackson and Wellston, several of them till he sold. And is still well known for that. Lifelong resident of Wellston, graduate of Wellston High School. He has taken up running. He's always run, but he's taken it to a new level now. And he was easily the first place finisher among the males. And
he's amazing.
Yes. He's done 100 milers. You talk about the great feat of doing a marathon. 26 miles. Well, he's done 100, and he has qualified. And not many people do this. He's qualified for the Boston Marathon.
That's awesome.
So I'm sure we're going to be talking more with him about that. He's going to be the subject of an article. The young lady who was the first place female winner. Is also well known in Jackson County, and she's going to become more well known. Emma Newsom.
Yep.
She's a graduate of Jackson High School, and she is now the cross country coach at Jackson High School and Jackson Middle School. This will be her first year, and so what a role model.
No doubt.
Now in high school, she was not on the teams. I talked with her very briefly after the event. But she took up running at the age of 22, and she is a wonderful, accomplished runner now.
Yep.
As her finish in the glow walk, in the glow run would indicate.
I think she even suckered her dad into running.
May well be, but
so that's fun too.
But obviously, firsthand, she can give some lessons to
absolutely.
to her team members this year. But also there was other things. There was a 3-throw shooting contest. There was a 3-point shooting contest. They had food trucks there. Michael's was selling their bubbles.
Yeah.
A taco truck was there. They also had pickleball games and lessons going on inside. They had the dunk tank, and 2 of the people that were on the dunk tank, there was a number of them, but they got Phil Howard, the superintendent of schools there. I think a lot of people lined up to take a shot at him.
They did.
And then David Gillum
Yes.
of Lewis and Gillum Funeral Homes was on the dunk tank, as well as some of the staff members for the Y as well. But it was a wonderful activity. Chief Executive Officer of the Y, Tim Harvey, was delighted with the turnout because it was a good community event. That's what he shoots for. And it was also a way to say thank you and to celebrate that new floor in there.
Absolutely.
And I got my first live look at it. I know we've had pictures up there, but you got to see it to truly appreciate it. It looks as good as any new high school basketball floor you will ever see. And it only happened because there was not only large donations, but a bunch of small donations that were able to put them over the top. And when it was evident, that they need that last push to be able to get there, some people in this community really came through. So congratulations to the Jackson Area YMCA. That was a wonderful event on Friday evening. We're going to have a spread on that, hopefully in our Wednesday paper.
Good.
But it was very nice, a lot of fun. Of course, I know that you were at the Jack Stone Memorial Fly-In on Saturday morning and afternoon.
So fun.
And our own Jeremiah Shaver, who's right now got his headphones on, running the show for us.
Yes.
He was there as well. And once again, if there's any event that counts on the weather,
oh man,
maybe even more than a car show, it's an air show.
Yes.
Because the planes have to be able to fly, and a lot of them are the older planes and whatever. And when they do their rides and their stunts, they have to be able to be up there. And of course, you want to be able to see them real well.
Yep.
But
it was gorgeous.
It was obviously a great event. They had Jeremiah can tell you they had the 1940 B-25 Mitchell bomber there. That attracted a lot of attention. That's right out of World War II. They also did.
That was so cool.
They also did airplane rides. That's Dewey Davenport, I believe, that gave the rides, and they also. It gave everybody a chance to see the airport. That's part of the reason that they have it, because why would you go to the airport unless there's some kind of event or you're actually on a plane? And, it's not a big passenger thing. There's not a lot of traffic through the airport. It's an economic development business thing and the pilots, who use the airport. But this gives the general public a chance to get out there. And what were your impressions of the day?
Oh, I thought it was just a wonderful day. It's number one, seeing those kids get to take plane rides. I thought, I was just sitting there watching them take off and land, and these little kids getting to take the plane rides, and I thought, that is just something they will remember for a lifetime. It was so cool.
Right. It's one thing to do the loop to plane at the Apple Festival. It's another thing to actually be way up there.
Right. And especially the open air, Dewey's plane is just so neat. And then, that World War II plane was so cool. So when I was driving down Hanley Road to get to the airport, so I guess when they brought that plane, they flew in from the Batavia area, and they came over the airport and did a big loop around the airport. Well, I was driving there at that time, evidently. So I'm driving, on Hanley, and I'm looking, at the houses and whatever. And I look up, and literally there's this ginormous it was loud, plane just right over top of my head, over my car. I was like, is it crashing or what? But no, it wasn't. They were just making a giant loop. But it was so cool. And the guys, were so very kind as to let people literally, you could almost climb right up in the plane, and it had bombs in it. You could see the bombs and how that all works, and the guns. And evidently that plane had been in a movie called Catch-22 back I think it was in the 70s. And so they had painted it that way for that movie. So it was really, really neat to get to see that, and to think those were the planes that they actually physically used to defend our country. It's so just a big huge, massive, big, heavy thing. Like you're like, how did those even fly?
It looks like
compared to what we have
looks
today.
like it couldn't get off the ground.
No, right. I was like, oh my gosh, that thing is terrifying.
Big motor, I'm guessing.
Yeah, something like that. But it was really neat because, like, if you could see, like, in the front there on the nose of the plane and whatever, like, all of that is clear, like glass. And then up at the very top of the plane, above the wings, there's like a big, huge, like glass, like hatch looking thing, and it's got like all these guns sticking out of it, and there's guns sticking out the front of it, and I don't know, it was wild. Just absolutely wild. So, and those guys were the two that flew it in and stayed with it for the day, and they were very nice, weren't they, Jeremiah?
They were. All these pictures are courtesy of James Hamilton,
Yes.
who is not with us this week. But
Yeah,
these are
James.
some photos he took. Like you were saying, this is the 1940 B-25, the Michelle bomber, and the Mitchell bomber, rather. Sorry. Like you were saying, it was in the Catch-22, but it was the 2019 Hulu mini series.
It was the newer one.
It was the remake.
Okay, it wasn't the 70s
and I
one.
actually, I'll show you off camera. I should have put it on here. I actually found a picture on online of this plane.
Because I Googled it and I saw that there was like a newer version of it.
That was the one it was in.
Okay, cool.
I sent James a picture. He thought it was cool. But anyway, the pilots here, this is a father and son team, Scott and Michael Burke, and they have a combined 53 years of experience flying.
Yeah, they were cool.
But this plane came up to Jackson County from down in Batavia, down near Cincinnati, from the Warbird Museum is where it came from. I was able to talk to the son, and he told me a little bit more about that museum, and you guys can watch that. It's on the Telegram's Facebook page and my Facebook page as well. But there was a few other photos that I put up on the screen. You were saying Dewey Davenport. Yeah, he was doing the flights, and James.
So fun.
James captured this photo of these two young lads
they were
coming back.
Excited.
I believe this is Cindy Coon's kids.
Okay.
Cindy.
Yeah,
and,
I think.
I can't think of her husband's name.
Philip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Used to be this principal out of Southview. Yeah. So some nice photos, and then you had this plane from the Ohio State Highway Patrol. I don't have this gentleman's name on the sheet here, but we thank James for the photos, and like
for sure,
Pete said, hopefully we'll have some of these in a future edition.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to definitely shoot through our Wednesday edition there while this is fresh, but some great photography there for sure.
Yes.
We'll show you, and we'll tell you, the story behind those pictures as well. But kudos to everybody who made that happen.
Fun fact about the big bomber plane that they told James, and he told me because we were out there together. It took them a half an hour to fly from Batavia to our airport, and $700.
Oh wow!
In fuel.
Okay, all right.
Fly a half an hour. Okay. That big ginormous plane.
So remember, the next time you fill up at the pump, have a little perspective.
So $1,400 in fuel to get there and back.
Okay,
is that not crazy?
James has on here that it was a 97-mile trip, and they used 100 gallons of fuel.
Yeah, and it's $7 a gallon.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what the guy told him.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad they still decided to come even after the sticker shock at the pump.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, it was a wonderful day. It was so neat to see. And I know you're going to do a story about it, but just my opinion was, so many locals, and you don't realize this, how many locals have their pilot's license and how many planes there actually are out at the airport.
Right.
And people were bringing their own planes out, and some people had actually built their own planes and experimental planes and all the different shapes and sizes, and some were, from the 20s, and some are like more modern, and just really cool stuff. And I want to thank our good friend Gerald out there too, because he was kind of I was like, so, tell me about that plane. Tell me about that plane. And so he was giving me all the facts about it. He's so wonderful.
Gerald Burchett, he's kind of the latter day Jack Stone. By the way, Jack Stone, that was wonderful that they named it after Jack Stone, because he definitely was the personification of the James A. Rhodes Airport out there for many years. And of course, we want to thank everybody who made that event happen, because it's the airport is a lot of work behind the scenes, and this was work to put this event on. But they know that it's important to share the airport with the public. It's had some money coming in from the outside, some grants and like that's allowed some improvements. The terminal building is new; it hasn't been there that long. People had a chance to see it, but the Jackson County commissioners are. Titularly speaking anyway, the owner of the airport, but the airport authority, which has its own board kind of, they are the ones who actually oversee the airport, and Mr. Burchett is out there working as an employee. But there's many other people that made this happen. There was sponsors such as Speyside Bourbon Cooperage, the Jackson County Banking Center, Geiger Brothers Mechanical Contractors, Cole Kirby and Associates, the Lewis family, the Haller family, and, of course, the Jackson County Commissioners that made this event happen. Looks like it's going to be an annual thing. It was kind of sort of an extension of the 50th anniversary celebration they had out there last year.
Yep. I think we were talking last year will be they have plans to make it a lot bigger.
Right, exactly. And of course, our neighbor to the north has one of the, they proclaim it as the largest free air show.
Of course, Vinton County.
In Ohio. And that is, of course, at the Vinton County Airport.
Yes.
And that is.
And they have chicken.
Yeah. Oh, and the chicken.
They have barbecue chicken.
The Vinton County Pilots and Boosters Association, they always do that in mid-September. Big event there as well. But anyway, lest we forget, school is starting again. This is the first day of school for the Jackson City School District. It is. I mean, it's hard to believe August 15th, but here we are. On August the 17th, Wednesday, it will be the first day for the Wellston City School District and the Vinton County Local School District. And then next Monday, a week from today, August the 22nd, will be the first day for the Oak Hill Union Local School District. And that means with school starting, that those yellow and black buses are back out there.
That's right.
And of course, September has to be School Bus Safety Month. We're not there yet, but that's kind of first full month where school will be in session.
Yes.
And one thing to remember about school buses and school bus safety for other motorists is that motorists are required to stop at least 10 feet in front of or behind a school bus when the school bus is flashing its lights and an extended arm are displayed. Motorists cannot resume driving until the school bus begins moving. The patrol also reminds motorists to plan ahead and allow extra times for delays caused by school bus stops. So if a school bus is in a lane, and you're even going the opposite direction, and there's no traffic, there's no stoplight or anything, but you see those flashing yellow lights and you see that arm come out that often has a stop sign on it, it is illegal to drive through there, even though the kids may be getting out on the other side. Because, of course, some of them are crossing the street to get in the bus.
People
or
need to realize
going back across the street to their houses.
Yes, and kids are, they get out the bus. There's only one door on the bus. So they get out here, but they need to go there. They're crossing the road. And, you just have to watch out for them. And trust me when I tell you, there's nowhere that you have to be that's worth a child's life or, injury. So just stop.
Right.
It's not hard.
Right. And, there's many places throughout our day. I mean, there's many school bus stops along the way. So you're going to run into this constantly. And you always got to remember, too, as you pass through a school zone, the speed limit there is going to be 20 miles per hour. Some of them are,
it's
on
annoying.
Highways. So, suddenly you're 45 and then you have to be 20.
It's annoying, but just do it.
No, you need to do it. Get in the habit of doing it during the school year, and especially when it's arriving and exit time, departure time for the different school buildings. So once again, be aware of School Bus Safety Month. And Jennifer, I do know firsthand that people have been cited for not stopping when a school bus is stopped.
Yes, absolutely. And
they will make an example of you.
For sure. And the patrol will be out. And do not speed during those school zones. 25 is too fast. Like, they're going to get you. Mm-hmm. Because we're watching out for the kids.
They're going to be real strict about that. I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of warnings rather than citations.
No, you're going to get it. So just do what you're supposed to do.
Right. Okay. Also, speaking of back to school, this kind of dovetails with the whole back to school theme of this week. recently, this was on Sunday, August 7th, a week from yesterday, they had the big Clips for Kids event at the Christ United Methodist Church. And that is one of the many kids that got a free haircut there at the Christ United Methodist Church, thanks to Indivisible Appalachian Ohio and local sponsors.
That's right.
And I think many people may recognize the hairstylist there. That, of course, is Becky Mayu with Village Haircutters. Now, she wasn't the only one to donate her time and her skills. There were others as well, and we want to recognize them. The other stylists who gave up their Sunday afternoon, and believe me, Sunday afternoons are valuable to people, especially when they work on Saturday, as many of these stylists do.
So true.
Natalie Kranitz of Oak Hill, Courtney Teeters of the Brook Lane Studios, that's here in Jackson, of course, Becky Mayu, and now her young protege, Hayden Brown of the Village Haircutters, and Paula Eisen of the Hair Happening and Tanning just outside Jackson. These were the people, men and women, who gave up their Sunday to do
remember them,
to do the free haircuts. And there were sponsors as well that helped make this happen. In addition to the free haircuts, Jennifer, there was also school supplies given away, personal items, sign-ups for the Imagination Library. Wendy's had vouchers for kids' meals and snacks. There was door prizes given away. And there were also gift cards for gasoline, groceries, and various other items.
That's right.
So this was once again a project of Indivisible Appalachian Ohio that works in 7 southeastern Ohio counties.
So cool.
Right. And Dennis Reinhardt, Jackson area resident, I know we had him on TV. He also worked with us for some pre-publicity. He worked with me after, so we can do some post coverage as well. Was really a local force. A local driving force that made this happen here. But he thanked many other people as well who helped make it happen. It was a lot of people that made this happen, and they had a great turnout for Clips for Kids. And we are going to have an article, hopefully in Wednesday's paper or Saturday's, one of the two, about how successful this was, with some photos of those stylists who gave up their time. But thank you to them. All right, this is a back-to-school event that is occurring on Saturday here at Manpower Park in Jackson. The Jackson County Department of Job and Family Services, along with other agencies, including the Jackson County Health Department, are going to do a Healthy Kickstart event at Manpower Park. And this should be a pretty big deal. Once again, this Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., there will be an array of support for both families and children, and anybody can come, just show up. It's not for people who are served by a certain agency or a certain school district or anything like that. It's open to the public. Items such as backpacks, school supplies will be provided on a first-come, first-served basis.
Okay.
And even though, they had that sales tax holiday, these things add up. They're expensive.
Yeah.
Also, the health department will be there to do immunizations, including COVID-19 on site. All Jackson County residents are welcome to attend this event. That is, once again, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Manpower Park in Jackson. And I have a feeling that the agencies involved will not only try to do some really good community service, but I think they'll probably try to make it a fun event as well for the kids. All right. On the business side, we had a big transition occur this weekend. At the Corner Pub. The Corner Pub goes back probably more than 100 years in Jackson.
A few years ago.
Right. And when you think about it, Jennifer, you've got a business in downtown Jackson now. And, yes, it looks kind of like it always has downtown Jackson for many years. But if you look at the names on the doors and whatever, there's always a lot of transition and changes.
Sure.
Well, the Corner Pub, originally Rupert's Cafe, has been there for more than 100 years, and it looks the same, and it is a real gathering place. It is certainly one of the more famous, historic and iconic bars in Jackson. Would you disagree with that?
No, definitely
right,
not.
And it's maintained its popularity through the years, and for the last 20 years, the owner-operator has been that man you see in the picture, Pete Bopp. And you see the big banners there that were up this weekend to kind of salute Pete. Thanks, Pete, for 20 years, says one of the banners. The other banners is Party with Pete, and that's what they did on Friday and Saturday. I talked to Pete yesterday, about the transition, about his career, his experience. Obviously, it was a bittersweet time this weekend. Sure. He said on Friday it was like the Apple Festival. That's how many people were in there. He was very touched by the outpouring of support and thanks to him. Conversely, he wanted to thank all the people who had a hand in being customers,
sure.
His staff over the years that supported him. But Pete had a 20-year run, and kind of an interesting story. Pete is from the Cleveland area. Jennifer, didn't know whether you knew that. Came down into this area to play baseball at Rio Grande. All right.
I didn't know that.
Okay. Well, after college, he went to work at Riepenhoff Distributing.
Yes.
Very well-known local business, a beer distributorship down on Broadway.
Yep.
When Riepenhoff Distributing sold out, there was Pete close to midlife having to start all over, basically.
Yep.
Well, he did have experience with beer, obviously, experience in sales and all like that. And fate intervened, and he had the opportunity to buy the corner pub, which was then owned by Bob Ridge.
Yes.
He had had it for 15 years. And, he got worked with Gary Crabtree at Milton Banking and got the financing, and the rest is history. A 20-year run right there. And he has sold it to a local group that includes Jeremy Eisenagel, Ben Higgins, and Mercedes Finley. And I think there's one other person that I don't know the name of, but it's about a 4-member group there. And they're going to continue the corner pub. It is closed down for 2 weeks while they make some cosmetic changes there. But I know that you can expect a lot of the history to be retained there. And I know they want to keep the business that Pete always had there. And when I talked with him, one of the things he said was, probably the most challenging time was the pandemic, of course.
Oh, of course.
You have a 3-month period there where you can't have people come in and sit down and have a sandwich or a beer or whatever, a drink, watch TV. You don't have that. You don't have that sit down opportunity. And during that time, just like you did with your restaurant, he did carry out service, and he also did he even did delivery service. He said one of his best lines was, he says, "Well, there's Grubhub and there's Pete Hub."
I love that.
Right, and he personally would go out and deliver food during that period, and that got him through until they were able to open up back again. But Pete will be around. He may have some association with the pub with the new owners, maybe do a little bit for them. But he also now is a full-time custodian at Jackson High School.
Yes.
He started that about 2 years ago. And so in the evening, he works up there on the second shift. But during the day, he may help a little bit down at the corner pub. He's not sure, but he's offered his services. He may even be doing some deliveries for him because they like the idea of being able to do deliveries as part of their business plan. Mm-hmm. But he is holding one of the bar stools there.
Yes.
And the bar stools are removable. They can come off the metal part.
Yes.
But those hardwood floors and those bar stools have been there seemingly forever.
Yes.
It's part of the character of the place, and they will remain, I'm sure.
Yes.
Even as they maybe do some other things to give the bar a different, maybe even a more modern look here as time goes on. But anyway, congratulations to Pete Bopp. You gotta give him this. He's a very unpretentious guy, kind of quiet, doesn't say hello. He blends into the woodwork. If you didn't know any better, you'd think he's the bartender or just another staffer. But he told me, as many small businessmen, you have to be there all the time. He says, you work when you don't want to, and you work when someone else doesn't want to.
Pretty much, yes.
That's
100% true.
That was one of the things he said. But he figured, it was until the pandemic, it was open 7 days a week, now 6 days a week, and he figured, he did some crunching in his head, and he figured he is there 85% of the time. And of course, he did everything there. You often saw him out on the sidewalk, sweeping the sidewalk.
Yep.
That was just the kind of guy he was. He was willing, to do anything to make his business successful. All right, so now we'll go to some harder news a little bit. We received some news from the Vinton County prosecutor about the ongoing murder investigation there, and that is what they're calling it. That was back on August the 5th. When a 33-year-old man from Vinton County was shot and killed. The suspect in custody is Sammy Vong Southey. He's in the Southeast Ohio Regional Jail, and there is his photo. Right now, he is charged with murder. There will be a preliminary hearing tomorrow in Vinton County Court. That is where the prosecution will have to show enough evidence to have him bound over to the Common Pleas Court, which is the higher court, which usually handles the felony cases.
Where's this fellow from? Do you know?
Vong Southey, I have never seen an address on him. I know that he was captured in Columbus. I don't know if he's from Columbus, but there was no address on the jail ledger there.
Gotcha.
So, but he is in custody. He was arrested the same day in Columbus by the Franklin County Sheriff's Office after the local authorities, the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, which is heading up the investigation, gained information that he may be in Franklin County, and that was exactly where he was. But once again, preliminary hearing on Tuesday, and that case will reach a very important point there on whether it's sent over to the Common Pleas Court. It probably will be. They just have to show enough evidence that a crime occurred and that Mr. Vong Southey may have committed it. You know, it's not the same as an indictment or a conviction.
Okay.
All right. Also, they did release the name of the victim. That was not immediately done because of, identification of kin and all like that. Sometimes that can be a prolonged process when people don't live locally. But the victim is Michael Young, age 33, and he did live at State Route 328, New Plymouth, where the shooting occurred.
Okay.
So that story was in our Saturday paper, and that is the latest on that. Also, on the not-so-good news front, we had a couple fires that were notable.
Oh, no.
Yes, this was on Thursday in Liberty Township. Thomas Washington residence at 10774 Beaver Pike. That's about 5 miles out the Beaver Pike. That home caught fire when nobody was there early Thursday evening. The Liberty Township Fire Department, with mutual aid from 3 other fire departments, was able to knock down the fire. The structure's still there, but it was pretty well gutted, and it's being counted as likely a total loss. One of the silver linings in this bad story is that there was insurance coverage in place. And the state fire marshal has been called in to investigate that case because the cause of the fire was undetermined.
Gotcha.
All right, another fire that occurred on Thursday at a government property happened at the Vinton Township Garage in Vinton County.
Oh, no.
Vinton Township is over on the eastern end of the county towards Wilkesville. And sometime late Thursday night at the Vinton Township Garage, which is on R Ball Road, a fire broke out, not on any building, not the township building, but broke out with some equipment. A tractor and backhoe both caught on fire, as well as a shelter house, which is on that property.
Interesting.
The Hamden Fire Department, which covers Vinton Township, they were there. I think they had some help from the Wellston and the Wilkesville Fire Departments as well. They were able to knock down the fire. The shelter house has some damage, but, it survived. However, the tractor and the backhoe, those are 2 big pieces of valuable equipment.
Yes.
They are considered losses.
Oh, no.
So the fire marshal has been called in to investigate the cause of that fire.
That seems a little suspicious, doesn't it?
Right. And I wish I could tell you more on the circumstances and the timing. I don't know whether anybody was there. I don't know. It came from an accident, just undetermined.
Right.
Whether it was after everybody was gone, and it's mysterious, maybe even suspicious. But nonetheless, that fire did occur there. And we had a blurb on that in our Saturday paper, and we hope to maybe follow up on that. However, we know from experience the fire marshal's office is pretty close-mouthed until they make a determination. And then even then, sometimes it's hard to get the information.
It's a need-to-know basis. If you need to know, they'll let you know.
Right. If there is a criminal investigation involved, technically, they can not tell you anything because of, quote, ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
All right. But nonetheless, a big story. All right. In Jackson, they had, at the last meeting of the commissioners, some good news for some different entities, including the city of Jackson. The county commissioners announced that $800,000 in American Rescue Plan Act money would be going to the city of Jackson so they could do the Mill Street Sewer Project. And this is the photo op that was done then, because everybody's happy about this. From left to right, if you're looking at the picture there on your computer, your phone, or whatever, County Commissioner, Jackson County Commissioner John Hensler, Jackson County Auditor Tiffany Ridgway, Jackson Mayor Randy Evans, he might have the biggest smile of all there.
Yeah, I'd say.
Jackson County Commissioner Paul Haller and Jackson County Commissioner Donnie Willis. $800,000 will allow the city to move forward with the Mill Street Sewer Project.
Yes.
This is sanitary sewer project
Yes.
within the city. This is a very rare situation that's
It's
going
odd.
to be remedied. They had no sanitary sewer service there, even though it was within the city. Not because nobody wanted to do it or take care of it. It just costs a lot of money to do. As you can see, $800,000 will allow them to, not even sure if that's the whole cost. It probably isn't, but obviously that should be enough to allow that project to become reality. But that wasn't the only money the commissioners gave out that day. And this is federal money coming from Washington on the American Rescue Plan Act. They also gave $33,000 to the Oak Hill Food Pantries Improvement Project. And this will involve work on the roof, electric, and ceiling. And there is the food pantry. If I recall correctly, Jennifer, you've been around a while. I believe it used to be the old Sundry building in Oak Hill.
Oh gosh, I'd forgotten about that.
Right, they had a Sundry store down there too, and that's right on Front Street there, on Maple, Front and Maple, I believe, and that is where or Front and Western maybe. But that is where they needed to do some work badly. It's a charity thing, not government owned or anything. So I'm sure that $33,000 will be much appreciated. So that's good news from the city from Jackson County, and good news for Oak Hill and Jackson both. All right, very soon we will have the Wellston, Ohio Hill Country Festival.
Yes.
It's coming up. Remember, there's the Labor Day weekend and there's the Ohilco Festival, technically now called the Ohio Hill Country Festival. The Ohilco is the acronym. But anyway, they're going to have some changes this year that are worth talking about.
Okay.
2 of them for sure. They're going to start on Wednesday and run through Saturday. Tuesday will no longer be the first day of the festival. They never considered it an official day of the festival, but they had it started in the evening. They called it a preview night. Kinda. But they usually had the Coal Miner Olympics and a gospel music concert. Mm-hmm. But now they are consolidating into 4 days, starting on Wednesday.
Gotcha.
This will be September 7th through Saturday, September 10th. And by the way, the theme for this year's Ohio Hill Country Festival is All Roads Lead to Everyone's Hometown. Another big change that they're doing, which is important to know now, is, of course, they got the royalty contest coming up the last weekend in August. Before, Wellston's festival was a hometown festival. Entries for the royalty contest at the different age levels were limited to girls in the Wellston City School District.
Okay.
Now they have broadened that out, and any girl in Jackson County and Vinton County are welcome to enter the pageant at any grade level. And obviously, this should broaden the interest, broaden the participation, and maybe bring more people to the festival.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see how that works out. But the Ohilco Society, which is a very dedicated group, once again, it's like a lot of the other public service civic groups. You have a relatively small handful of people really doing a lot of work to make something happen for everybody else.
Yes.
That's certainly the case with the Ohilco Society, and things will be happening very soon. Those Queen contests are going on. We had a story in Saturday's paper on the front page that our own Jeremiah Shaver wrote, so we thank him for that. But it tells about these changes, including how to enter the royalty contest. And now's the time to do it because they will be coming up pretty soon.
That's right. So get your entries in.
And we'll be having more information about the Ohilco Festival very soon, about some of the things on the schedule and so forth.
Yeah.
All right. Another thing that's new that we're going to be reporting on is we have a new ag agent in Jackson County, and he is here now and working. His name is Josh Winters, and his title is Agriculture and Natural Resources Educator. And he will work at the Extension Office, the OSU/County Extension Office there on Standpipe Road. He's there now. I know he's going to be a guest at the Jackson County Farmers Club meeting tonight. So he's getting around meeting people. He is going to meet our associate editor, Phil Buffington, this afternoon for an interview. And, the goal there will be to introduce Mr. Winters to the community and also to say, for him to say, what his position is going to be and what he's going to try to achieve.
That's
This
awesome.
county has not had, as you know, an ag agent since Dave Samples retired back in 2005.
A couple of years
and
ago.
I will give Dave Samples credit. He has continued to be almost an ag agent in retirement, helping out however he could in this period. And so we welcome Josh Winters to Jackson County.
Good. Welcome.
And we'll be learning more about him. And, we've got a new 4-H agent, extension educator, whatever that highfalutin title is
the
coming
really
to.
long, a new Aaron Daly.
A new Aaron
coming.
Daly basically coming. Aaron, of course, is still here living in Jackson County with her family, but now she's doing the same job in Gallia County. So we wish her the best as well. All right, this Thursday, there will be a meeting of the Wellston City Council, and they have some important business to do at the beginning of the meeting. They're going to have to pick a new council member. I think I probably said on TV last week that the Jackson County Republican Party Central Committee, the Wellston City Caucus of that Central Committee, would be charged with replacing the vacancy, the at-large council vacancy, as the resigning member, Fred Doobie, who is now the third ward councilman. He really isn't gone. He just vacated one position for another, was a Republican. Well, guess what? People had fuzzy memories. He was not a Republican when he got elected. He was an independent.
Oh.
So therefore, it's not a Republican-appointed position.
Oh.
And because it's an independent position, it's up to Wellston City Council itself.
I was going to say, well, who chooses the independent then? Okay,
right.
The council does.
It's council. If it's a Democrat, it would be a Democratic Party appointment. If it's a Republican Party appointment. If it's an independent, it's up to council. And I think if council failed to do it or whatever, it would be up to the mayor. But I'm sure council will take care of it. And according to Wellston Mayor Charlie Hudson, that is exactly what they will do at the beginning of the meeting this Thursday. They are scheduled to meet in regular session at 7 p.m. and he expects right at the beginning to pick that new council member. He understands that there's maybe 2 or 3 people that have already expressed an interest. But if you're interested in being a Wellston City councilman, a new Wellston City councilman, you just need to let them know or just show up there.
Yeah.
But you need to show up, maybe present yourself or make your interest known at the very least. And this would be for the remainder of the unexpired term, Frederick Doobie's unexpired term. And it's only a 2-year term, and we're already halfway, or not quite halfway through it. It would be through the end of 2023.
Yes.
Because it will be on the ballot again in 2023 for a 2-year term. So you get to serve to the rest of this year and then all of 2023. And there's only really 3 requirements. You have to be a resident of Wellston, obviously, and it could be anywhere in Wellston because it's not a ward position.
Right.
You don't have to be a member of any party at all. You can be a Republican, you can be a Democrat, or you don't have to be either.
Sure.
All right? But you do have to be a registered voter.
Okay.
All right. So maybe you can get your registration taken care of if you're interested in serving, but you're not an elector.
Right.
You maybe have time to take care of that by registering at the Board of Elections. But that will be an important position that will be filled this Thursday evening.
Hey, speaking of Charlie Hudson, Jeremiah, can you look at the calendar? I believe he's our guest tomorrow here on the program. Yes. Yeah.
He is.
Wellston Mayor
I
Charlie
saw that
Hudson
on the
here.
calendar. He does such a good job when he comes on TV and when he talks to the media and whatever. And I'll tell you what, Jennifer.
Haven't had an update in a while, so we invited him in.
Jennifer, you won't have any trouble getting an hour out of Charlie because there is so much. And I'm not saying about that he's talkative. I'm just saying
so much going on.
There is so much going on in Wellston. Some many public improvement projects going on, water lines, sewer lines, work at the depot, et cetera.
Correct.
And he can tell you all about that. I'm sure he'll be willing to share some perspective about being mayor.
Yeah.
Of course, Charlie, great story. Came back to Wellston after being a business success away from Wellston, came back to a reunion, I think it was. And they said, why don't you do something for Wellston or whatever? And he moved back here.
Said,
and he got involved immediately as a city councilman with some public service groups like Main Street in Wellston, and then became the mayor after Connie Pelletier chose not to run.
Sure.
And, he's obviously doing a great job there. I'll make that editorial comment and judgment. All right, this weekend, not going to tell you a whole lot about it, but I'm going to tell you that it's happening. There's going to be an overdose awareness fair at Vinton County High School.
Oh, okay.
And the health department is putting this on. It's called an Overdose Awareness Health Fair, and it will be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the high school. And the purpose is to raise awareness on the impact of substance abuse and overdoses in Vinton County, honor lost loved ones who were lost to addiction, promote harm reduction, and reduce the stigma of drug use and drug abuse, so people can, face their horrors and maybe turn their lives around.
Yeah.
So that's a big event. There's going to be some guest speakers there, including the Sheriff Ryan Kane, the MacArthur Police Chief Matt Kite. Reggie Robinson will be there to help coordinate things again, and there will be social services folks as well. Mm-hmm. Justin Oyerth from Warriors for Christ down here in Jackson County will be one of the speakers as well.
Love that.
Another big meeting on Saturday in Vinton County will take place at the Hamden Fire Department there at the community building. It will be from 10 a.m. to noon, and it is going to be what they call a roundtable discussion put on by the Ohio Firefighter Task Force. The Firefighter Task Force was formed earlier this year with the idea of addressing the problem and issues involving volunteer firefighters. So many local fire departments, particularly smaller ones, count on volunteers. It's been harder to get volunteers. What can we do to improve the situation? How can we support them? That's what the State Fire Marshal's Office, through the Governor's Office, wants to achieve with the Ohio Firefighter Task Force. One of the members of the Ohio Firefighter Task Force is none other than a Jackson County and Scioto Township Fire Chief Aaron Lamaster.
Cool.
So they have set up what they call a listening tour, where they go all around the state in different areas where firefighters, fire chiefs from the local fire departments can go in and give their 2 cents, give their input. Members of the public can come as well. And it just so happens that the regional opportunity for Southeastern Ohio will be this Saturday in Hamden from 10 a.m. to 12 at the community center. So once again, this is something that the public is welcome to do. The big issue, one of the big issues in Oak Hill, is the regulation of underspeed vehicles. We're talking about golf carts and utility vehicles. Interesting situation,
Okay.
Jennifer. The state has a law and rules, but home rule has precedence, which means that
Really?
right, it's a local community like a city or a village, like we have here in Jackson County. They just can't say, okay, we're under the state rules. You may think that, but they have to say you're allowed to do it. They have to say that you're allowed to do it, or say that you're allowed or you're not allowed to do it. And
I didn't know that.
Oak Hill did not have an ordinance or a resolution or any legislation, but because of the state code allowing it, people rode golf carts, utility vehicles.
Sure.
Apparently, they've done it for a long time, and that was all right with Oak Hill. Well, Oak Hill Village officials found out not all that long ago about the fact that they have to have an ordinance or resolution so people can do it. It's not trying to keep them from doing it. It's allowing them to do it, and also a system with an inspection program and like that is
because
also
they have
required.
to be street legal. You can't just willy-nilly jump
Right.
on something
Well,
and ride it around the streets.
Yeah, you have to have a driver's license, and you have to have a license plate.
They have to have seat belts and all that stuff.
Well, on the state level, you don't even have to have seat belts. That's a local decision.
You don't?
Believe it or not.
Okay, I thought you did.
But Oak Hill has had a bunch of debate down there. The last 2 or 3 meetings, I've covered those myself, and they've had utility and operators and golf cart operators in who say, hey, you haven't done this before. Why are you doing this now? We've had no problems.
Right.
Why do you need to have regulations and inspections and an inspection fee and all like that?
Right.
And so, the village officials, all of them except one, feel that there should be an ordinance or resolution, feel they have no choice. And so this story was written about in detail in last Saturday's paper, and that is also online there.
Okay.
Now, they have not passed the final reading of that ordinance. It's going to be at the next meeting, which is August the 23rd on a Tuesday at 6 p.m. if you're interested. That is when they will pass the ordinance on golf carts. They have a separate ordinance on other underspeed vehicles like utility vehicles.
Gotcha.
That will be right behind that.
I see.
The reason there's different ordinances is because the state allows for a different maximum speed. It's lower for golf carts than it is for utility vehicles, so they couldn't really do it easily in the same ordinance. All right, real quickly, because we're about ready to run out of time. Colton Village Council will meet on Tuesday evening. We're telling you that because for a while they were on a schedule of having a meeting only once a month, and that was the first Tuesday of the month. Now they're going to go back to a schedule of meeting the first and third Tuesday of the month.
Okay.
And the third Tuesday of the month is coming up this week.
Do you believe that already?
That's at 7 p.m.
Jeez.
That's at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. at the Colton Community Building, and our own Jeremiah Shaver, that is one of his beats, does a great job covering that. Speaking of businesses that are downtown, the Robin's Nest is up and flying. The Robin's Nest Cafe and Tea Room, which is the old tea caddy right next to the marquee. We didn't have a picture of the owners before, but there they are. There you see employee Destiny McGuire, co-owner Mike Ural, and his wife, co-owner Robin Ural. And they are the owner-operators, proprietors of the Robin's Nest Cafe and Tea Room.
Love
so
that.
You want to give that out a try. Alex Shope, to tell you how dedicated he is, our editorial assistant, he not only did the story, but he went the next day and had a club sandwich or something just to see what all the excitement was about. And he said it was good.
I'll bet it is. I've heard nothing but good things. So
right. And we do want to give a shout out to our own Cynthia Stifler here with Stockmeister Enterprises. In another life, she is with the Apple City Players.
She is.
And she not only is in the plays that they have from time to time, but she is heading the youth theater program of Apple City Players.
Very cool.
And they have a big date coming up, auditions for their Christmas play, which is entitled Kid Kringle. And she wrote Kid Kringle. Now, how about that?
That's pretty cool.
Right. And there's going to be auditions for the kids on August the 25th at 6:30 p.m. at the Marquee Theater. You just are asked to come to be prepared to give a short monologue and a song a cappella. Well, that would scare me away there. But just pretend
you can
like
sing
it's
anything but Oklahoma.
Yeah, no. Just pretend like it's karaoke and it doesn't matter. Of course, she conducted a summer workshop this summer. I think she drummed up some interest among the youth.
Yes.
There's also going to be positions behind the stage that will be available as well that you can sign up for as well. But auditions for the positions in the play, the actors, that's 6:30 p.m. Thursday, August the 25th at the Marquee. We had a big article in last Saturday's paper, and it's online as well. Once again, the Hope United Methodist Church in Wellston will have its free community lunch this Wednesday. That will be from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Anybody can come. It's free. It's not income-based or anything. It's just a community get-together thing. Here is beautiful home-cooked free meal.
Yay!
Going to be chicken salad on a croissant with chips and fresh watermelon. What tastes better this time of the year? All right. So what else are we going to talk about? The Victory Grange needs to get together on its apple butter.
Yes, get together on the apple butter.
They can't do it by themselves. They need volunteers out to help make the apple butter ahead of time. Yeah, they make it at the Apple Festival, but they've got to be stocked up before then.
Oh, man, because they cannot keep that stuff in stock. So
right, well,
there's not enough time in the day to make all the apple butter that they need to sell.
Rick Neal, who is a Grange member and kind of the promoter, he's put out some information. Out at the Grange Hall on Pattinsville Road, they're going to have work sessions on Friday, September 9, Saturday, September 10, and also on Monday, September the 19th. And then, of course, during the festival, they could use your help then too. But really, at first, ahead of time, out at the Grange Hall.
Yes.
And, of course, not only does this give them the chance to sell apple butter there, and it's something they can do to make the Apple Festival a true Apple Festival, but they also take the proceeds and use it for to buy weekend food and backpack programs and to support 4-H projects. So it's a true community service project in more ways than one.
Plus, they just make really good apple butter.
Right. And speaking of things out in the country that have a long history, the Limerick Grange will have its 124th annual Bean Dinner this Saturday. That's out on Savageville Road, and that's just like walking into yesterday when you go out there. You get some great soup beans and some other food at low prices, and it costs great, and it tastes great, and costs not a whole lot. It will be from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. That event has a history of 124 years. How about that? You can get white or brown beans. You can get cornbread and coffee. All that for $4 or $2, depending on adult or children. They also will have hot dogs, sloppy joes, cold drinks, pies, and cakes. You can get the pie by the slice or the whole pie. And you can also bring your own container and take beans home as well.
Yeah.
1 quart ladle for only $2. So
nice.
Also out on the traffic side, Glade Run Road, which is County Road 57 in Washington Township, should be closed sometime starting today. Maybe it's already closed. That is a bridge replacement project. You can expect that section of Glade Road, which is just south of Glenell Road, to be closed for about 2 weeks. And if you ran into some problems on the Chillicothe Pike because of construction out that way by CLA, that road is now open again.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people go out the Chillicothe Pike for whatever reason. That traffic is now open again. So I went 1 minute over, Jennifer. I so much apologize to you for
You know
that.
why? Because you're full of it, Pete Wilson.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you. You are correct about that.
Hey, we have some exciting stuff coming up. We kicked James out for a week, told him he had to take a vacation. So that's where he is.
Well, we got Jeremiah Shaver, the good guy that he is, pitching in to get us through it. And
our good friend Andy
Hudnall,
yes,
who's got a crash course in video producing.
Exactly. So, kick James out for the week. And so we have a lot of fun things planned for you. You will be back with Dan Morrow.
Yeah, because, oh my gosh.
To talk about football.
Right.
Can you believe it?
Hey, on the Telegram side, we have a football preview coming out on Wednesday. In-depth articles about our 4 local teams, the Jackson Ironmen, the Vinton County Vikings, the Wellston Golden Rockets, and the Oak Hill Oaks. And then in Saturday's paper, we have coverage of the other fall sports teams.
It's awesome.
So I mean, a lot of places just do a football preview, but we cover it all. And we take 2 editions to do it.
And thank you for that. And again, Mayor Charlie Hudson from the city of Wellston will be here tomorrow. Wednesday, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk talk skincare with my good friend Kaya, and how to do all the good things to your skin that you need to do. And then Chris O'Boyle will be here again we'll be here Wednesday to talk about sports in Wellston.
He's the broadcaster for the Wellston Golden Rockets this year.
That's right. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, he's a glib guy. I think he can handle it.
I'd say so. And then Thursday, we're going to take a visit to the Lillian Jones Museum, talk with our good friend Megan Malone about her retirement and about the museum in general. You'll get to meet the new director there, and it will be a lot of fun. So we have a great week in store for you, even though we kicked James out.
Okay. All right. Well, we will make do.
We will.
But we do miss him.
We do. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Happy Monday. And thank you, Jeremiah, for pushing all the right buttons. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow with Mayor Charlie Hudson. Bye-bye.